So, at the close of Halloween 2021, we had one more horror show. The return of Chibs and Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who with a Halloween apocalypse. Yeah. Because the whole universe ends at the end of the episode. Yeah. Well, at least there's that thing. There's a few little, way too little nuggets about this era of Doctor Who that does certain little nods to classic Who. The theme song is closer to the original, and that's about it. The rest of the music is not that great. But with this having a cliffhanger endings, that's a bit of a nod to the old show too. As Jodie episodes go, I mean, it's not a definitive episode because it pertains like it is chapter one of an overall story like the old show would do. And for the most part, it sort of works that way. You have little teases and nods to things that, I wonder what it means, and all that sort of stuff. So what the flux? Yeah, that's what you're dealing with in search of a DeLorean with a capacitor, I suppose. But the indications here are there might be a bit of, time travel shenanigans that would be appropriate for a Doctor Who adventure to utilize the possibilities of time travel in the simple way that the Doctor is meeting people who say, well, we've already met, and we will meet, or what have you, and that sort of thing. And so if you have a clever enough writing staff, you can make that all fit. But we know better, don't we? So there's quite a few people thrown in, quite a few are immediately dispatched, setting up this whole thing. There's this ancient villain who's been held prisoner apparently since the dawn of time or the universe or what have you. And but this villain, we don't know his name, but he knows the Doctor, and that they had done battles so many times before, but of course the Doctor doesn't remember any of this. And I wonder what that plays into. And then the division is brought up. The Doctor wants to know about the division. So, yes, timeless child stuff continuing on. Will it ultimately reveal that it's all BS? One could hope, but and with the all this teasing about time travel shenanigans and whatnot, oh boy, you could unravel all of that. One of the things that it's very clear here, because some of the rumors leading up to one of the main plot points of it was that the TARDIS was dying in dire straits, and that the Doctor would have to go back in time to the beginning of Gallifrey and all that. And if they do that, and if they undo what the timeless child crap suggests, that would be a good thing. I mean, the getting there is probably going to be clumsy and stupid, because Chibnall's tenure over Doctor Who is clumsy and stupid. But it would be all the better that they do something along those lines. If it would do that, that would be fine. But it's just, I just don't believe they're going to do that. The only reason I'm even bothering to watch it is because of the announcement that Russell T Davies is returning to Doctor, and not only that, but that it will be somewhat removed. Obviously not totally, but it'll be his production company handling pretty much all the heavy lifting for Doctor Who, and that I would hope would leave him and his crew to their own devices here on what to do for the character, and so on and so forth. So I came home late from work and watched it on the repeat, and this thing says it was the extended cut. Okay. A little few more scenes of outer space, I guess. So they introduced the new companion, which John Bishop's the actor playing him, and apparently he's very well known in Britain, I assume. Apparently a comedian of some sort, and all of that. He's fine. He's just playing this guy who's flung into this and all of that. But based on the trailers for the series coming, he's just going to be the butt of the joke. So that's pretty much where that is. They open up with some amount of, I guess it passes as a spectacular bit with a lot of CGI and green screen stuff, but it's fine. A lot of people are more judgmental and harsh on those things. As for me, I don't really care as long as it's not really horrible. And I guess, but it might end up being they spent all the money on the opening episode, and they'll save the rest for the final one, and the rest of it will be pretty cheesy. It could very well be. I don't know. But there's little adventure stuff here and there, and it's wacky and everything. And they don't have Yaz and the Doctor make out or anything. I mean, they've been alone together for a while, and she talks about, I've taken you on some great little adventures in some beautiful places. But Yaz is upset because the Doctor won't be up front with her, and you're keeping something from her. And of course she is, but at the same time the Doctor doesn't quite know what it is herself. So cut her some slack, I guess. I don't know. So most of it was just teasing all the stuff they're going to get into. So there wasn't a whole lot there that was, overly awful, as it has been for the Doctor Who shows with, under this current regime. But it's still, you just know better, So they tease some things. So there's this woman shows up. She calls herself Claire, I believe, but she talks about taking the long way home, which was Clara's line. I don't know if this is supposed to suggest that she's an older Clara, but she gets dispatched by a weeping angel, or does she? Well, it seems to appear later. And she was racing back to her home, and I went, was that supposed to be the TARDIS that Clara has or whatnot? Or are they going to suggest that Clara can regenerate? I don't know. A Chewbacca shows up. Because that's how the character of Dan, who's played by John Bishop, joins everything. He gets abducted by this son of a bitch. He get it? Because, he's a sort of a dog man and stuff like that. But that turns out to be this plan about these guys who understand that they got to save certain people from the flux. And their plan was to just take a bunch of people from Earth and spare them the being disintegrated by this onrush of energy, which all of it looks an awful lot like Crisis on Infinite Earths from DC Comics, not the CW show. They did a terrible job of that. Although that's probably where current Doctor Who belongs, along with Star Trek Discovery and Picard and all that. But that's kind of what it looked like. Is this planet's being disintegrated. There's this guy who looks to be, a sort of a cheap ripoff of Red Dwarf, and the guy from The Expanse who ended up splattering himself against the rings, So he's there. I don't know what part he'll be. I guess maybe another companion. I can't remember. But he's just shown in his ship, and he's witnessing all of this stuff. But they're all coming together. And then they throw in not just the Weeping Angels, but the Centaurans. So the Centaurans are in on this. And with, again, time travel shenanigans, there they are. So, and my guess is that, at some future point, they'll do things that sets up what happened in these events. But they kind of already did that with the Cyberman guy and that sort of stuff. But who cares? If it's not gonna resolve the Timeless Child and undo that, what it suggested and all that, then it's all a waste of time, really. Leaving quite the mess on the way out. And one can imagine that if Chibnall's really that vindictive about it all, he would. But then again, it's not really in his hands. So there's not much here to really make a final call, and you wouldn't expect it to anyway. But so it's called The Flux, but it's really, the timeless child, the series, and where it goes. If it just reinforces it, then that's it. But if they actually do undo it, okay. But the problem is they've painted themselves in quite a corner, and I don't think they have the means or the skill to figure out how to turn that into some interesting outcome. The twists and turns that I don't really see it coming that way. It'll probably be very cheesy and stupid, but if it undoes that nonsense, then fine, take it, and then we'll see if Russell T. Davies can restore Doctor Who to his former glory, But we'll have to wait and see on that. So, so there it is, the Halloween apocalypse, and these new villains. And didn't they do that where they had some? See, I'm already forgetting the previous season where there was this. The scary guy, he had a wife or a girlfriend or whatever, and the two of them would torment people's nightmares. And I wondered, are these supposed to be the same entities, but they just look really where they look like sort of cheap alien? At first, for a while, they almost look like Pinhead, but with his nose falling off, I guess. But anyway, I don't know if there was. So, is there a connection to that? But I guess they're positing them as new villains, So, I'm sure all will be explained. They'll probably just tell you rather than show you, but probably doesn't really matter. So anyway, if they retcon Timeless Child, great. If they don't, well, then screw them. So anyway, there you go. The Doctor Who Halloween apocalypse. There's already been an apocalypse for Doctor Who, but we'll see if the series can regenerate. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness, so many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.